So, in a recent session, I had a conversation with my client about building rapport and trust and just comfort and feeling safe with your practitioner, with your, the facilitator, whoever you're working with, your coach. And it was a really good conversation because we both admitted to, you know, needing to feel comfortable with the other person because when we work with clients in any capacity, whether it's, an energy healing session, a coaching session, just conversation, we want to do our best to kind of facilitate that open, inviting space for the other person to, feel comfortable in whatever the interaction needs to be. And it just really got me thinking about how important that is to me, but as a practitioner, but also as a client. So I've definitely been in situations where I did not feel comfortable with my practitioner, whether it was a medical professional, um, you know, a primary care or a dentist or what have you. So like a licensed medical professional, all the way to, an energy healer, to a coach that I've worked with. And the things that I've noticed are that when I feel most comfortable, I'm willing to open up more, and I'm willing to be more honest, not only with the person that I'm working with as a client, and also be more honest with myself. So it's almost like when that door is open, I'm willing to go a little bit more than the extra mile because I feel safe. And when I feel safe, I feel like I can do the digging and really be vulnerable and open up and, go to those deep, dark places that a lot of us don't really like to visit. So this made me think about my role as a coach, as a healer, as, a facilitator, in that I really want that to be the environment when I work with someone. And it reminds me of the importance of how all of us kind of in the coach, healer, facilitator, leader role have kind of the responsibility and the duty to make sure our clients have that comfortable, safe space where they can do the healing work, where they can ask the questions and not feel judged, where we can ask questions of them and they know it's coming from a place of love, of care, of compassion, of exploration for them to be the best versions of themselves. I have several times had questions asked of me, of a coach, of a doctor, of a leader, and I did not feel safe with that person. So I perceived the question, or I perceived the whatever the dialogue was, as a threat. I perceived it as something that not was meant to challenge me in a growing, loving way, but in a challenge, threatening type of way. So I personally shut down in that instance. And I know that feeling, and I know how it feels on both sides. So as a coach, I would say that when you are looking for someone to support you on your journey, that it is of utmost importance, whether it is a one-on-one session, whether it is a multiple hour session, whether it is, you're signing a contract to work with someone for 3 months or 6 months or longer, that you make sure you feel comfortable with them. Because at the end of the day, we as coaches, we as healers, we provide a service. And part of that service is holding that space and being the invitation for you as the client to explore in a non-judgmental way, be challenged in a non-judgmental way. And if you can't do that, then you are not getting the growth and the healing and the things that you deserve and that you're paying for. So the conversation just really reminded me of the importance of that relationship, and also just why I generally don't work with people, for more than a one-on-one session without talking to them beforehand to understand their goals, to understand a little bit about their background, how they heard about certain modalities. I think that kind of 15, 30-minute, you can call it a discovery call, you can call it, a strategy call or whatever, but I think that introduction to each other, to each other's energy, facilitates a really good start to a relationship and starts to build that rapport that's necessary for people to go under in a hypnosis session, or for people to let their energy field open so you can tap into things that they can't on their own, so they can let their guard down, so they don't have to feel guarded, so they can feel open and supported and safe. So I personally kind of love the strategy or the discovery calls, because it's not just let me give you the spiel on logistics and pricing. It's let me get to know you as a person, let you get to know me as a person, as a healer. Let us understand each other's energy signatures to see if we're actually a good fit, because we shouldn't be pushing services on anybody. Like, if you know, and if you don't, if we're not a good match, I will tell you we're not a good match. You can tell me we're not a good match. That won't hurt my feelings, because it's my concern that you feel safe, that I feel safe, and that we have a productive, mutually beneficial relationship. So building rapport, trust in the client, the practitioner relationship, and why that is so, so, so important. It just really, really was just, it was just highlighted for me in this conversation with this person. And I wanted to share that because, like I said, I've had some not so pleasant experiences with medical professionals, with practitioners, etc. And I know I've felt pressured. I felt uncomfortable. I have felt, like saying no was not an option. And that is not a safe space. That's not a good place to be in. And a lot of us shut down. A lot of us are trying to unwind that behavior and understand it. So having that as your entree to someone is absolutely not the way it should be. So I just wanted to kind of reiterate your power and empower you as a client to say that you absolutely have a say. If you don't feel comfortable when working with someone, then you should honor your intuition, honor that gut feeling, and not feel forced to work with someone for any amount. So I hope that is helpful, because it's something that is present in my mind, and I feel is really important, because we should be trusting our intuition. We should be trusting that gut feeling when we're selecting people to work with. And if we're not, then there's probably some other things we need to dig into. But that is all I have for now. I hope that's helpful.